All right, so this is not going to be streamed to Twitch, I guess. There were 3 events that happened yesterday. Ooh, Eagle's Nest. Let's see what Eagle's Nest did. Shide Grainmon won first. How many players? 16. What was the Shine Greymon list doing? Looks like Shine Greymon things. Cost Shine Greymon pricing. Oh, interesting. They actually were using some Data Squad stuff. I don't know if just splashing in these is really worth it. Obviously, like, their key focus is, like, this. But, I mean, I guess if it worked out, it worked out. Yeah, it looks like they're just more Ruin Turbo because, like, that's what this kind of build leans towards, and this further supports that. So it's like Ruin Turbo, and then if they feel like Burst Mode, they have it, like, they can do it. But yeah, this just looks like Ruin Turbo. What does this do exactly again? So this will just passively generate 1 memory, shove some cards underneath, and jamming is pretty irrelevant for the deck. But it does have Marcus in its name. Oh, I guess this is like the replacement for the mem setter? Because this just nets you the 1 memory anyway. So it's like fulfilling almost the same role as the mem setter without being one. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. Because this is literally just here taking, like, it literally is just eating cards out of your deck, and the only thing you have to actually use it is, like, this card. This card's the only thing that you're actually using it for. I guess this card does kind of just do a lot. It reads a lot. Hey, Fox. Actually surprised they're using Data Squad stuff? Yeah. I mean, it doesn't impact the price of the deck at all. Like, it's still an expensive as sin deck because you just need so many high-value cards. Like, between this and now this, it's like the deck is still just as unachievable for most people. Also, the inclusion of these is, like, actually just making the game arguably more expensive. There's a Volcanus. Yeah, the $200 for a Volcanus deck. I hope everyone enjoys that. They actually are using Homeros. That's probably why. I think, like, you take out the Homeroses and this drops by $100, like, easily. I'm hoping they make Gaomon great again. You want to pick up some of the pieces? Yeah, it's... So maybe I have to take a similar style of approach with using Mirage as, like, Shine. Like, maybe take notes where it's just, like, not everything is going to be Shine, but, like, maybe a little splash or a hint of it is, like, not terrible. I don't know how well it works out in practice, but it's something to play around with. This Volcanus is using Merva for some defense. Grace Nova is scary. Grace Nova I could see being pretty scary. He's a little on the fragile side, but he could be pretty scary. How much is 3 muskets? Oh yeah, I hope everyone's okay with $400 for a 3 muskets deck. Because the Beelstar X jumped to $100 a piece now. And then this is, like, actually arguably way more expensive than it should be. I could kind of get behind, like, in understanding Asuna being $10 a piece. I think it's still a little pricey, but, like, it's not that, like, I don't want to say bad, but, like, it's understandable, at least. But yeah, I hope it's funny that Gundramon, like, shot up in price, like, almost immediately. The new Grace not being Nightclaw Lightfang is weird. I'm okay with that. Because the only reason why they did that for the initial wave was literally because they were pulling from that specific video game's reference. So they were pulling from Digimon World Dusk and Dawn, and now they're pulling from somewhere else. So it kind of makes sense that they would not hold the same traits because it's two different references. So I actually started using DCG Nexus like a while ago. I don't know if people know this, but like I kind of am liking this website. They have obviously like I don't know how they get their tournaments, but they upload the tournaments. They have like the different calibers. So like 1 star is basically your locals, 2 star, I think they have is like anything with 20 players or more. And then 3 stars is like actually your like big regionals. So I really like that they separate it. They have like a meta breakdown. I think this is just biased because this is being influenced by everything, not just like the big stuff, but like it kind of gives you like a good direction for where the game is going. So might not be like the most accurate representation of data, but like it's not a bad one. In terms of like popularity, play percentage and whatnot, like it's not terrible. I obviously would do my own math when it comes to the data that I'm looking for, but that's just data in a nutshell. Everyone can look at the same data differently, which is like funny. But yeah, so like it gives me the most recent events. It tells me how big they were. So like this is actually where I found the Chile regional data. Because Eggman events didn't have it up. I still use Eggman events, don't get me wrong. But this is like you can see like some people, like if they're able to get certain builds, like they'll just be able to put them on here. Like 26, there's Jupitermon. Like, and if anyone's curious, like they actually do have accurate pricing, because if I go and I click on like Agiomon and I'm like, oh, how much is Agiomon actually costing me right now? 724. What do they have on their website for it? 780. Like it's not entirely inaccurate. So it still gives you a good representation of like a very quick place on how much Dex costs. And I kind of like it for that because I saw on Facebook somebody asking for like what are the best budget competitively viable decks. So if I had to like go to this website, I could very easily pull things up. So it's just like, how much does Strachio cost? So it gives me like, here are the staples that are in Strachio. Here's like how many people are running on average of that particular card. Here's some like meta history, and then here's like the list of all of the events that the deck has done. So like if I wanted to go to, let's just say Eagle's Nest has like an updated build, you could see that Medusamon can cost you around $150-ish. And then it shows you like where's the price of all of those cards being taken from. Obviously it's TCG player, so it's just like what's actually making this deck this expensive. Well, obviously it's Ukomon. The fact that Eliza jumped up to $3 is kind of crazy. The fact that the promo jumped up a little bit is also silly, but like the promo is arguably like not that great for this build. And like the price is mostly in the Uko, the Strachio, which is going down in price, the Medusa, and the training card. Funny that they're running 2 and they don't have green. Well, I guess if you paste them, you could easily run more than 2. Because, like, I use this first, I won't be able to use the second one, but because I'm running 2, the chances of me doing that are still kind of low. So, like, maybe this is the wave, is, like, actually, instead of running 1, you run 2. Like, especially if you're already going to be running the offense trainings, like, it just kind of feels like it makes sense. So, I could see, like, cards like this just do nothing but unnecessarily increase the pricing of decks. Because if you take this card out, like, let's just say this is $10, like, now you're looking at about $100-ish for Medusamon. I mean, obviously, if we go like explore other builds, like if we go just look at a different build, like you could very easily get it to be under 100, but you got 4 boxes of 8001 and 3 of my alts were Lord Knight. Oh, I'm so sorry for you, Fox. I mean, like, so this is kind of where I like this website a lot, because like, let's just say you want to build a Lucemon deck. So we could go and search up decks, and we could see Lucemon. We could see, again, the staples, the data. Obviously, Lucemon has not been doing super hot, but it at least gives you a good rough idea of what you could potentially do with it. So let's just go to the booster box, 128th place in Virginia. Obviously, the win-loss ratio is not provided. The deck's price is not terrible. I mean, obviously, the deck hasn't really been doing well. But you could see, like, here's just a good idea or a foundation where you could start building something like a Lucemon deck. So, like, they're using 2 Lord Knights. They're using 4 of the broken card. This card's okay. This card's okay. 4 of all of the good Lucemons, like the base Lucemons. They are using the new Tamer. So, like, this gives you a good idea of, like, where things are. So I highly recommend looking into DCG.next or DCGNexus.com. So I'll put that in the chat here in case anyone like wants to explore the website on their own. But the reason why I'm talking about this, 1 is because I started using it, and 2 because pricing is becoming an issue. So I pulled up Dual Revolution on TCG Player right now. I sort by price high to low. I haven't sorted by rarity or anything. But yeah, so just looking at where the new set is. So Asuna compared to, like, this is where price lag actually can be pretty interesting, because obviously we saw Asuna be about $10, so it looks like now she's trending downward, which makes sense. A lot of things should be trending downward. I use the word should because, you know, the set technically just released on Friday, and it's Saturday morning right now, so people are still buying and opening. So this is going to be in flux for probably about a week, maybe 2 weeks. But the big contention point that I wanted to bring up was the ultimate rares. Or the ultra rares. So I do think these cards are overpriced. Like, full stop, I do think they're overpriced. I've already done the math based on pull ratios, and the fact that these are more common than any given super rare should theoretically mean that they should hold a cheaper price point. But right now, they're not. I don't particularly think the demand is so insurmountably high that it makes these cards hold these prices. I think, like, on the high end, these should be like maybe $10-ish. Maybe 10. Because Monarch Lizardmon, just as an example, is not a 4 of in Glowing Dawn. So there's no reason for him to be $15 if he's not like a mandatory 4 of. Because if we go to something like Magnetic, Magnetic Drama. Like, he is holding just about the same price point, but he is like a mandatory 3, bare minimum 4 of. Like, so, and like, if this is technically easier to get and you need less of it than something like this, then why do they have like the similar pricing? Like, and you can make the argument, oh, this is a starter deck upgrade card, therefore the demand is just overall more. And like, that argument is like fine, but like, it still shouldn't even be this price. So the reason why it's this price is because this is where pre-sales actually did kind of matter, because singles sellers set the base price high enough, and there was some price memory, because you could see, like, obviously if we go to the 1 month, you could see that, like, okay, it was not selling at like pre-sale $25, but it kind of slowly was. So you could see, like, people were buying it at about $20-ish on pre-sale. So this created a price memory, which is carrying through all the way to now. So, like, even though you could see it's like a huge downward trend, it's still having some resistance here because the price point was set initially a little on the too high side. Like, and people were starting to buy it up in larger quantities. So, like, that was the main issue. So the base price was just set arbitrarily too high. Because single sellers did not know that, like, this is technically more common than this. Like, if you open up a box, you actually have a higher percentage opening up Monarch Lizardmon than something like Asuna. And I feel like that's kind of shitty for single sellers to do, because that just, again, makes the barrier of entry to the game even harder. So if we go, let's just look at Eagle's Nest, and we look at a Glowing Dawn deck. There's your price point for Glowing Dawn right now. Like, obviously you could see that some of the prices didn't exactly, it doesn't auto update. I don't know exactly how frequently these update, but, like, you could see that, like, okay, yeah, this is, like, even if you just take off like $1 here and like $5 here, like, it's not going to change the price to be anywhere below $150 to build Glowing Dawn. Like, what are we doing? This is a starter deck. Like, playing a starter deck upgraded competitively is going to cost you a total of over $150. Like, get the fuck out of here. Like, and Adventures was in a very similar camp, where it's just like, although Adventures had less cards that you needed to buy into, and it was just the tie, which the tie, most people ended up settling on using 1 to 2 ties anyway. Which still means you paid, let's just say, $60 for the double combination of starter decks. So that's already $60 for just the base build. And then what? On top of that, you spent like maybe another $20 for a single copy of tie, or $40 for 2 copies of tie at that time. So it's just like, you're still under $150, but like anything over $100 for an upgraded starter deck, it's just like, get the fuck out of here. Like, honestly. Yeah, you don't like the support for starter decks inflating their price. It's been my #1 issue with starter decks. Like, one, we don't get enough starter decks, I feel like. Compared to a lot of other, like, Bandai games, we just do not get enough starter decks. And I feel like that's kind of an issue in of itself. Not necessarily me asking for more product. Because technically, like, less product is, like, arguably better, because then there's less to focus on and less to buy. But, like, there's no reason why they can't do, like, a starter deck where it's just reprints. Like, hey, let's just reprint, like, rocks, just as an example. We'll throw in 2 magnetics, and if they want to build rocks fully competitively, it'll cost them, like, maybe $40-ish or something. Like, I'm being hyperbolic here, but something like that, like an intermediary product where it's just reprints, kind of like what the Gaogamon starter deck was that English never got, like something along those lines, I would probably be like really okay with. Where it's not like quite an advanced deck, but like it's actually a way to get started, and like you have very clear upgrade paths, but like you don't necessarily need that much outside of the starter deck. But that's obviously not Bandai's ploy. Bandai wants you to buy shit, so this is just the scummiest way to do it, is just starter decks plus like trying to entice people into slightly higher rarity cards, and then promos. Like, the fact that the Glowing Dawn promo jumped to like 15 is like massively stupid. We already know it's getting reprinted. But the reprint isn't happening for like 8 months, so that doesn't do anything now. And I know these packs just started to be in circulation, so like we still have a long way to go for the price to drop, but like again, price memory is a bitch, and once something is set high enough, it just has a hard time falling unless it like completely falls out of favor. Um like I know where's yellow vaccine? There we go. Like Gatomon. So, Gatomon is another great example where it's just like this card never really actually dropped in price. People obviously were not paying $60 for it, so like people are now being more realistic. But you can see like its overall price history. So like even if we go 6 months, it's just like, or even a year, like it was kind of just bouncing all over the place, but like it hasn't like truly dropped outside of like this time window here. This time window was like the only window that it dropped, and then it immediately spiked again. Patamon's kind of in a samey camp. Like he dropped a lot because of the reprint. Um, but then he just like slowly was increasing in price. Like I think, yeah, this is like reprint era, and then like as people just started buying and using the card more, it just like skyrocketed. And the situation's worse in Canada from the States. Yes, I would agree with that. Monarch Lizamon is €8 or so, which is about $10 over here. That sounds to be more correct. Like $10 is a little bit harder of a pill. Like it's still a hard pill to swallow, but it's easier of a pill to swallow, if that makes any sense. I do think like at max, Monarch Lizamons should be about 10 USD at max. Um, I'm not even willing to pay $10 for it, which is sad because I pulled one and I want to build the deck, but I don't have a reason to spend that much money on upgrading a starter deck. Yeah, so like we could go through like so Glowing Dawn right now is going to cost about 150 a little more than $150. So that kind of sucks. Omnimon, almost a $400 deck. Where's all this pricing coming from? Alteres, Alteris, Sagittarius, and then the two new shitters. And then arguably Nokia if you're using Nokia. So like, yeah, even, and then Ukomon. Like, this deck is expensive as sin. And you can mostly blame 8001 for that because these cards they started off incredibly high. And then these cards just spiked because these cards existed. And same with this. So it's just like, okay, there's two decently competitive decks that are well over $150. What about Three Musketeers? Oh, it's over 150. That's great. I don't know why they're using Titamon in here, but like, whatever. Yellow Vaccine, we already know it's like around 300 USD. You want to play like this is Angels, or this is Shakamon looping on a budget. Because like obviously you could build the other builds, but this is like the more budget friendly version of the deck, and this is like using Black War Greymon. But like even then, still like this is above $100. Tesseros Volcanus over 100. Jupitermon over 200. And this is without the new cards. So like actually, because these are the only things that are realistically changing, maybe a little bit of the low end and the mid end. No, this is an updated list. Yeah, so like even then it's like 250. Cosmic Area over 200. Like Digimon is not the cheap game it used to be. We already looked at this. This is like over 100 now. Even if you take out like this card, it's still slightly over 100. Millennium over 100. So like I think the game just got like unnecessarily more expensive. It's funny. Actually curious. Yeah, so even like $75 for this is like, oh, it's mostly because of the Dino Beast. That's why. Yeah, you take out the Dino Bees, you take out the Proto Form, and probably this is a cheap deck, but like it's not doing anything right now, so it's like whatever. But yeah, so like the point on like looking at all this is to kind of just showcase that Digimon is getting objectively more expensive, and like I don't necessarily think that's a good thing. Like, yes, you do have your cheap decks like Marsbon. I think this is a really bad build of Marsbon because like this should be Dan and Cannon. Because Dan and Cannon can set up your Paradise Coliseums and your Iron Slashes like incredibly easily. So if you swap this for Dan and Cannon, that's increasing the price by $40. So even like at that point, you're still spending like $80 for like a tier 3 deck. And I think that's like incredibly sad. I think the only like even Zephica, like if we just look at like a mediocre Zephica, like hey, over $200. Oh yeah, it's because we need like 4 of the $25 cards, so there's $100 right off the bat. Thank you. Then yeah, Medieval's still pretty pricey. Like obviously there's ways to build decks for cheaper. Like obviously. But like if we could just go through all of these, like you could see that the vast majority of the pricing is like well over $100. Even Cross. So people always attribute Cross to being a very cheap deck. It is not as cheap as people think. So like if we look at like it's still over $100. It's on the cheaper end, but like it's not necessarily the greatest deck, and like all your money is basically in these like here, this is where all your money is. So it's just like, obviously the 8001 card spiked everything because of course it did. Katone jumped up in price because of course this card made this card better. And then because Cross got better as a whole, this Taiki got more expensive too because this card existed. So like, it's just really unfortunate. And I think like the other one is like Red Hybrids. So like you look at Red Hybrids and it follows like again another very similar trend where it's just like because these two cards existed, they created the new foundational price for the deck. Then because these cards existed, this got more expensive, and then because this got more expensive and Red Hybrids got better overall, this got more expensive as well. So it's like a trickle up effect almost, where it's like just a lot of things centered around it. So like, yeah, Red Hybrids, $200. I hope everyone's happy with that because 8001 fucked this up. So yeah. Like, and I'm not just sitting here just to complain. I'm just pointing out that like we have a place that we could tangibly see the game increasing in price and the actual cost of what it takes to play Digimon. That's the whole point of this exercise. Is not necessarily to sit here and complain because I personally can't afford everything anymore. And like as a budget player, that's kind of what you have to look at. Is just what cuts can be made, what cuts can't be made, what are the prices of what are the top decks versus what are the prices of what I want to play. Like there's a lot of cost analysis into this. Because where is, I think it was here. Yeah. So like I'm looking at Rebootmon not only because I like Atmon, but because so far right now, he's doing okay. He's obviously not going to be a tier 1 deck, very obviously. But if I wanted to build the deck, it's not an embarrassingly bad deck. That's arguably one of the cheapest decks in the entire game. Well, to be honest, I'm liking that the game scene is growing. Yeah, regardless of inflation. I mean, I want to give the tools to empower people, I guess, like, I don't want to say to make smarter decisions, but like, I want to give people the tools to be able to play the game to the capacity that their budget allows them to. And right now, I feel like a lot of people just don't have that skill. So looking at stuff like this, where it's just like, I could spend $40 on Atmon versus $40 on Bearmon. So which of those two builds would I want to go towards if that is within my budget? So it's just like, obviously, Apps is probably better than Bears. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Apps is 100% better than Bears. Within the same price point. And that's kind of the thing that people need to look at is like, obviously, if you like Bears more, like, yeah, sure, fine, go with the Bears. But, and there's ways to make budget, like Bears budget. So, because, just for the sake of the experiment, like, obviously, if I was building the Bears, like, this card is probably a mandatory card, but like, obviously, as you saw in the previous Bear build, you don't exactly need it, because Bears more so cares about the fact that on a Tamer, you have the ability to attack at the end of the turn. Obviously, it would be nice if you just play options with it for free, because why not? But again, you don't need to, because Bears likes being bigger than the opponent, so like, using just the Dan is like arguably fine. So like, we have a budget replacement for Dan and Yuki in the form of just Dan Cannon. So like, there's that option. This is already pretty cheap. And then Bears, for the most part, kind of just like builds itself. So you do this, you do this, you do this, you do this. This is like without putting very little thought into some of the stuff. So like, you already have the majority of Bears right here. Which is fine. But like, obviously, if you want to make the deck better, you can, but you could at least have something competently playable, even though this isn't the best. So like, that Bears build costed about $40 for probably just like what the majority of what you see here. And I think like, if I had to choose between the two, if I'm looking to play the best deck for that price point, obviously Apps is the best for that. Yeah, even without Homeros and AGO and the Yukis, it's like $10 a piece. Yeah. All the cards in Europe are also English. Yes. I don't think Europe. They don't have any Spanish cards. I don't think Digimon's going to have Spanish cards. But yeah, all the Europe cards are English. You find it interesting that all these decks are doable compared to what it costs in Europe. You could build most of these decks for 50 to 100 euro at the max at base rarity. Yeah, I mean, Europe, I can't really speak about Europe. Europe's just a completely different beast on how its secondary market works. But like, it's funny because I find Europe's pricing to be more accurate than US pricing. Like, it might sound crazy, but I honestly think Europe's pricing is more accurate to ours. I think like, American greed kind of is just extra inflating certain cards. And because ours is like more centralized around TCG player, it's like arguably easier to manipulate the market. So, yeah. My points are valid. It's more concerning rather than complaining. Yes, because I don't want the game to be super expensive. Like, obviously, there's a give and take where you need to have some monetary value to want to draw people in. That's what the chase cards are for, and why Bandai started doing them. But at the same point, that is like, you want your baseline to be affordable. Like, if people can't afford to play your game, people just are not going to play your game. So, like, that it is just that simple. And unfortunately, like, it's getting to the point where everything across the board is getting so much more expensive that even a content creator, it's getting harder to keep up. Could I dump all my money into a TCG? Yes, but YouTube is not paying me enough to do that. And like, I'm already not playing the game competitively because I don't like Bandai's competitive structure right now. I think it's complete and utter dog shit. Hey Arcanus. You've been taking a break from Magic the Gathering due to how high it's been. You're getting back into Digimon recently. When Gallantmon got support, you had a bad experience when I was building for playing post-ban Mirage Gaogamon. I mean, Gallantmon's like at least okay right now, but like again, the shitty thing is like Bandai just knows how to not power spike, money spike their game. I think I just need to search Gallant. I think you would want like a Gallant X builds because like Gallant X actually just got like more affordable. And it still does like okay. Like you don't even need this card, like to be honest. Like you could actually just take this card out, just eat it, like fuck this card, and then you might still want to consider running the Tamer, but I digress. You don't necessarily need this card specifically. I'm not a huge fan of it. It's like just okay. And like that would make Gallantmon a lot cheaper to make. And I think like Gallantmon building more focused around like X antibody stuff is like arguably better anyway. Just because like how cracked his X line is. Yeah, you don't even need this card. This card's literally in here just because of this card. Or is it this card? I think it's this one. Is this the Warper? Yeah, this is the Warper. Oh, that's funny. Most commonly paired with. I didn't even realize that feature. That's kind of nice. So like it shows you like why people are running this card or like what you're running cards with. That's kind of nice. I like that. Yeah, you got everything you need. You think Biomerge is so good. You love the gimmick and it's pretty strong. So like Gallantmon actually is pretty good for having Biomerge the way that he does because like I mean, so this is your recovery play. So I've said it a couple of times where it's just like Digimon as a game is shifting, like there's so much power in Digimon, it's like actually ridiculous. Digimon is so explosive so early now, but like after the explosive turns, that's where the real game starts. It's just like, okay, let me do my cool combo, let me just blow up all your shit, deal massive amounts of damage, and then the question that the game then asks is, what do you do to recover from that? So having a mechanic like Biomerge is really good because if you have it set up, you could be like, oh, Biomerge is how I recover from this. So the game is transitioning into like not really like hardcore recovery as in like I'm going to recover my security, but board state stabilization. So Gallantmon's in a decent position because of Biomerge for board state stabilization, which is why a lot of decks are using this card, is because this is the best card to play for that type of gameplay. Is it needed? No. Because you do just have like not trainings, you do have scrambles. And as long as you have the ability to like have rush and then the Digimon can attack and then do like other goofy shenanigans, like you're fine. I'm like really coffee. Not like coffee as in the drink, just dry throat. The 3 cost is better? Yeah. I mean, like, the idea is you still just have a Biomerge. Like, you have multiple different avenues for Biomerge. honestly, I would hope to practice more for the event coming up. You're torn to play 2 Omnimon X's and 1 Crimson mode. Like right now, Gallantmon's not doing super high. I mean, he's doing okay. Like, you could take this. Like, I like this. This isn't a terrible build. I mean, obviously, it did well. But I would probably say 2 Omni X's is probably correct. Omnimon X just wins games. So, like, even if you biomerge and you don't have Rush and then are able to attack, you could still, like, just go up into an Omni X pretty easily. So, I think Omni X is the way. But I think, like, 1 Crimson mode Ace isn't bad either because it could catch people by surprise, because most people wouldn't necessarily think that people are playing Aces. Yeah, so like in some of the more recent ones, yeah, this is just 2 on here as well. Yeah, here's Moon Fusions. Like obviously you don't need Medieval Gallantmon, but he's on a 1/1. So like I think the surprise factor of Crimson mode Ace could like sometimes be good enough to cheese things. And against certain matchups, this like just does a lot. So it's just something you gotta like do some research and play around with. Like obviously you could see like here's the core cards. Like literally here are the core cards for the deck, and then everything else is kind of just like, all right, I'm playing this just to play this. The only thing you're concerned is Shine Greymon Ruin mode kind of kills the deck. Yeah, that's the big thing, and I think a lot of people are still going to want to bust out Shine Greymon Turbo because it is looking to be incredibly strong. Right now, yeah, Shine Greymon's right down here. He's still like a very popular in deck. Popular and powerful deck. God, English. And I think like because of the I was gonna say Glowing Dawn, the Data Squad stuff, that probably pushes more people into Ruin Turbo. Because the Shine Greymon from the starter deck is very similar to the Shine Greymon from AD01. So now you're just running more consistency on this type of card. So like if we actually do go to like read this card, when Digivolving, you get to play 1 Tamer. It's literally any Tamer. So this sets up your Marcus and then does -9. So if we look at what this card does, it, hey, look, sets up a Marcus and then does -3 for each. And then it also deletes because a Marcus suspends. So, like, obviously this card is, like, arguably stronger. But, like, you have the consistency on having that same type of ability where it's, like, reasonably decent strong removal attached to a Shine Greymon that also is playing out your Tamer. And the key Tamer of the deck is literally this card because it basically is the same thing as this card, but better. So, yeah, I do think, like, more people are gonna, like, lean towards Ruin Turbo. And just splash or tech in a couple of burst modes. So yeah, it does feel really shitty that certain like cards or mechanics completely invalidate decks and play styles. I'm not gonna deny that. When your boss monster has 5 keywords and is super strong, yeah. Kind of nuts. Wish Mirage Gaogamon was as good as Shine. It could be Dark Blastoids. It could be. So like all it needs. Actually, I could just hit refresh. That's probably easier. All Mirage really needs to be as good as Shine is their burst mode has to be on the same level as this card. So, like, for Mirage to actually be good, it needs to have Rush. So, as one of its keywords for Keyword Soup, if we're using this card as the template to make Mirage good, it needs to have Rush. That's step number one. The reason why it needs to have Rush is because of Mega Knight. Or not Mega Knight. Mirage Beast Knight. So Mirage Beast Knight is Mirage's recovery play, where it's just like, oh, this is my bio merge, this is my warp, this is my whatever, to be able to get back into a mega almost instantaneously. So doing that for right now, Mirage is cute, but it's more of a defensive play rather than an offensive play. The best decks are able to rebuild and be offensive at the exact same time. So that's why I feel like one of the keywords that the new burst mode needs to have for Mirage would have to be Rush, is because you get back up into a Mirage for very little amounts of memory, and then you can go into a burst mode and then start rushing the opponent down. It'll probably still need to be able to unsuspend. It actually will need to interact with the opponent's hand, just like the old one. So, like, there's a lot of templating from the old one that still needs to be happening. You could give it probably... You could probably have it keep evade. You could probably give it blocker. You could probably give it reboot. Maybe security attack plus. I don't know. Security attack plus might be a little too dangerous, because if it's able to unsuspend, then security attack plus probably. Maybe alliance? No, probably not alliance. I don't know what other keywords you'd give it, but like you could keep it as evade, blocker, reboot, and rush, like at least. I probably would do unsuspend and no redirecting. So those would be like the abilities, and then obviously a bounce to the opponent's hand. You could keep the memory gain from like the old one. But it needs to punish the opponent for actually like having, like, it needs to function similarly enough to the old one. And then the option probably is just removal. It's just bounce something. Pretty simple. It doesn't need to be complex. I would almost have it bounce a Digimon and a Tamer. Because this one plays out a Digimon or Tamer, so like if you're not playing out a Tamer, then you could at least bounce a Tamer. So maybe that would be funny. Maybe decode? I don't know. They could technically use like the new keyword, but I don't think they need the new keyword. Rush, reboot, evade, raid, and maybe alliance. I don't think it could take advantage of raid. Raid's not a very bluey mechanic. And even if you're splashing in black, raid's not super prevalent on a lot of like mono black cards, is it? Yeah, raid's not super prevalent on pretty much any mono black card. So raid is not really a black mechanic. It's more of a red mechanic. So, but yeah, like it's those types of elements that you have to think about, not only from a design perspective, but like what is the deck doing? What does the deck need to be doing? In order for it to actually be competitively viable. And right now, the Mirage stuff that we have is just not there. It literally, unfortunately, is just not there. I want it to be there, but it just isn't. Because what does the current one do? Oh, jamming. You could give it jamming. There we go. There we are. So it has reboot, blocker, evade. So like you could keep those, give it rush, and then give it jamming. I don't even know how necessary jamming is. then the option can bounce something, and then the Digimon side, what does this do actually? Yeah, so it can still have the activate this effect. And then this just does some, okay, this is just a shine mechanic. All right. It's similar to the old one. So, if we were taking this card as templating, we would keep the main keywords that it has. Give it rush, give it jamming. The reason why I'm saying give it jamming is because the new way that they want you to play is having jamming come from the tamer. So, and like, they obviously want you to play more Data Squad stuff. So, like, you have 2 Data Squad Gaos that do not have jamming. So, I think, like, giving it jamming, like, Russian jamming would probably be fine. Allow it to unsuspend. Potentially gain memory for punishing the opponent for having a large hand. I don't even think it needs to gain memory. I think literally just stripping the hand and unsuspending constantly probably is just good enough. D-Digivolve? I would love D-Digivolve on it. Do I think that's recent? Oh. D-Digivolve is just such a good, it's such a strong mechanic now. It was funny. I remember all the way back in BT, like, 2, BT3 era, shitting on D-Digivolve because it just seemed utterly pointless. And that's because the game was in a completely different state at that point, where it's just like, oh, you have a Spider Shot, where it's pay 3 to D-Digivolve 1. It's just like, ugh, that was terrible. Awful. And now it's just like, oh, yeah, pay 3, D-Digivolve 2, make an attack, and then do something else. It's just like, okay, now it's really good. And right now, there's just so many problematic cards that D-Digivolve just incidentally outs, where it's just like, D-Digivolve is just obviously one of the best mechanics in the entire game at this point. Yeah, but at the beginning, D-Digivolve was like really pointless and really poorly statted to where it was just like actually objectively bad. It's like, I'm going to D-Digivolve you 1. And then it's just like, okay, cool, I'm going to Digivolve again. And now I get my Digivolving ability again. So, like, you effectively done nothing. Lord Nightmon has clutched you so many games with D-Digivolve 2 out of security. Oh, yeah. No, D-Digivolve is, like, insane. D-Digivolve is so strong. But, like, decks, not decks like Marsmon. Decks like Olympus 12, where you just, like, hard slam Digimon, kind of just, like, make D-Digivolve worse in a way. It forces, like, decks to play in a particular playstyle, to not be de-digivolved, and not a lot of decks can do that. That's, like, partially why Royal Knights was, like, really good, is because, like, it literally invalidated an entire mechanic. But a lot of decks just, like, passively de-digivolve, so it's not like they cared a whole lot if they couldn't de-digivolve Royal Knights specifically. But yeah, so, Digimon Nexus, definitely a very good tool. After, like, going through a lot of these decks, it really showcased and highlighted how much more expensive Digimon's gotten. Because, like, I remember, like, not really a couple of videos ago, a couple of years ago, like, Digimon to build a competitively viable deck was sub 100. And now to build a competitively viable deck, it's like over 100, arguably hitting the 150 mark. And it's just unfortunate to see the game get more expensive. Because I just want people to play with, and if more people are not willing to pay the price, they're just not going to play the game, and then that's kind of how things start wiltering. So, but yeah, knowing where to go and how to budget is, like, nice, because if we, like, look at a lot of the other super rares in this newest set, like, already a lot of them are, like, just $3. Like, that's fine. Like, I think that's pretty good. We could even hit refresh and see if any pricing updates happened. Yeah, so, like, I mean, these need a secret rare, so that's kind of shitty, but like Titamon being like $3 makes the Titamon deck somewhat affordable. Is it a great deck? Maybe. It's like, okay, it's probably about as good as Bearmon, to be honest. Like tier 3 playable. Is it going to win events? Probably not. Is it something you could do? Yeah. Actually, how much is let's look to see Titans. Here's a one that happened recently. Yeah, I mean, Titans, this is build is over 100, but that's just because it's using this Titan. And you could like easily take this Titamon out and just like run more of these. And then the deck is still relatively affordable, even though like this card is just stupid. I like the fact that this card's getting a reprint. I hate the fact that this card is just that dumb. But like the rest of the deck is like reasonably priced. So we could like export the list, import. So now we have the list here. So if this is the only like real monetary thing that's like really hard spiking the deck, how much is it spiking it by? So according to this, it's spiking it by if we wanted to round down to 15, so $45. So you could just like remove $45 from this price to make it about like a $60-ish deck just by taking these out. And then as a result, you're probably going to be playing 2 of this and then 1 of this. And then boom, for like $60, $70-ish, you could build Titans like this. So like there's still affordable things, and even though like Titans obviously right now with the shifts, people are still trying to figure out how like what the build is, and it's not doing like anything super competitive as of right now. It's still a reasonably strong deck that isn't like embarrassingly bad to play. You're getting the Ryugu stuff from oh, because you think it might go better with EX12? Yeah, that's probably a good call, Dark Blastoids. Like, reading... So, one of the big things about, like, being a budget player is, like, obviously reading the market. It's, like, the most annoying part of, like, trying to be a good budget player. But, like, if you are a good budget player, reading the market is arguably one of the most important skills. So, it's just like, oh, let's just say, something is getting some support. What do I like, or like, you know, the theme's coming up. What do I need to get in order to prepare for that is like arguably the best thing. Actually, oops, nope. We don't need to look at code. I could go to Asana. Yeah. So like, we could look at Beelstar X Antibody as like the current most litmus test for this, where it's just like, okay, obviously she was starting to spike in price, but she was pretty stable for a while. So like, seeing this was just like, okay, I know that Time Strangers has Beelstar. I know they're probably going to update Three Musketeers. So 3 months ago, you could have started buying the card for about $40-ish versus the 100 people are asking for now. So if you were being a budget conscientious player, obviously getting the cards early is going to be for your overall betterment, because we could see that the lowest this has been was $8. Like, this was the time to buy Beelstar, like right on her dip and decline, getting her for as low as $8 versus the $100 that people are now asking. So I think, like, obviously looking ahead, knowing Digimon lore, and getting yourself prepared is like arguably one of the best skills any budget conscientious player can do. How's Commandramon doing right now? It got a little support. The problem right now with Commandramon is I don't think his top end is really changing that much. Let's go back to here. So, D Brigade, there we go. So, like, the biggest problem with Commandramon is even though he got a brand new Commandramon, which is fantastic, by the way. This card's really good. It's a new searcher for the deck. You got a new Seastramon, which helps you reduce your Digivolution costs. So it helps with the whole board, like, go wide strategy. And then you got a new Tankdramon, which is another really good card. It just helps with, again, more memory efficiency. The biggest problem is the top end has not changed. Your top end is still most likely going to be Brigadedramon and Darkdramon Ace. And then now maybe you're more incentivized into playing like a Chaosmon or something. Maybe not this Chaosmon specifically, but like a Chaosmon. So that's kind of like the awkward thing about D Brigades is their top end cards did not get better. And I think that's the big thing that's holding D Brigades back right now, because if we look at like all of the D Brigade level 6s, you don't have that many to choose from, and the ones that you do are not really very strong. Like this on its base just gives your your board blocker. It could be a sticky Digimon with inheritables, and then it could just constantly replay Digimon, and then its deletion is hitting technically at this point below its weight class. So usually what I mean by that is like you want your Digimon to be handling about the same level of Digimon that they are. So you want your level 5s to remove other level 5s. You want your level 6s to remove other level 6s. So the fact that this on base is hitting below its weight class because it's expecting you to play other cards in its evolution line is the real kicker for it. Because now, let's just say you're going up against Olympus 12, where you can't de-digivolve it, so now this when digivolving effect basically is useless, which is unfortunate. So, like, that's the real big problem to D-Brigades is the top end for them is just functionally not strong enough. It's not doing unreasonable things. I think, like, the stickiness of D-Brigades is, like, fine. It's good. And obviously the low end just got better. But obviously the main thing during the opponent's turn, yeah, so like if you're using this Tankdramon to like turbo up into your Brigadedramon, like you're really not doing much of anything. Like you're actually not really doing much of anything, and that's the big problem. Like even if you do this, like this is still not super great. Like this incentivizes you for playing a level 7. So like now maybe D Brigades shifts to just trying to be a level 7 turbo deck. So yeah, that's the big problem with D Brigades is like even though they got a better low end, their top end is still pretty weak. Yeah, BT23 promo Asuna, we know is getting 3 Musketeers, so get it before the game drops. Yes, exactly, Greenhill. Oh, hi, Greenhill. Yeah, you like if you were a more conscientious player, like obviously if you're a new player coming into the game and you look at that and it's very obviously deterring. Very obviously. Where it's just like, oh yeah, you should have just bought the card months ago before you even started playing the game. And then you could have gotten her for like arguably the cheapest price ever. And it's just like that doesn't help the now. So like what is it? Glowing Dawn? Yeah, so the fact that like the Glowing Dawn promo started off at like $3-ish is like fine. It's a brand new promo, whatever. We could even, yeah. So like the Glowing Dawn promo has already been in circulation since April. So it's already had almost 2 months to be in circulation. And now it just spikes in price because the starter deck came out and we realized that the starter deck is really good and this is probably one of the best supporting cards for said starter deck. So, like, if we're already 2 months into its circulation, where you probably only have, like, maybe a month, maybe 2 months left before the next store promos come out, and then these just get phased out, and then the price just stays this high. Like, it doesn't help to make the game more accessible. Yeah, so, like, if you were a brand new player coming into the game and you bought the Glowing Dawn starter deck and you see that you need a promo card that is barely in circulation at this point, in terms of like if I go to my store event and I play it, you could still also just not get the card because they're like, that's just how the seed works. There's only so many of these cards that are printed per seed. So like if these were already taken out of, like, and they were already pulled on in your store event, and you're trying to play in store events to pull for this card, and you only have, like, a month left, that's not many chances in order to actually get the card you need to upgrade your starter deck to be where it needs to be. And then it's just like, oh, what? I'm supposed to spend another $60 on promos, and then another, like, whatever on ultimate rares, because like, oh, I could have just whiffed on my ultimate rares, or I like what, I bought 4 boxes and then I didn't get all of the ultimate rares that I needed because RNG can just be a bitch like that. So it's just like, cool. Or like, even if you spent, like, let's just say 4 boxes is like $400. Like, what are we doing here? Just to what? Upgrade a starter deck? So, like, yeah, it's just acts as a big deterrent, which I don't think should be a thing. Like, I think this card should have been inside of the starter deck. Like, it should have just been an extra card inside of the starter deck. That's where I really think this card should have been. I think the ultimate rares shouldn't have existed because right now they are proving, like, unless these cards' prices drop that dramatically, unfortunately, for being a more common card, arguably, they are more expensive because there's less of them per box, was somebody's argument on Facebook. Even though statistically, like, pull rate wise, if I were to try to find, like, buy a single booster box to try to find an Asuna versus a Monarch Lizardmon, I have a higher chance of finding the Monarch than the Asuna. So, like, statistically, these are more common. It's just, unfortunately, because there's less per box, single sellers are just like, all right, it's just arguably a more expensive card then. Hey, King Jaden. I know I'm streaming early and I know I haven't done any gameplay. I've just been doing a big yap session. Part of it is because, like, I don't really want to get, like, super too invested into something because my friend is coming over. And he's gonna be over at around, like, so right now it's what, almost 10 o'clock. He's gonna be here in about hour and a half-ish. 2 hours at worst. So I just want to, like, get the concept of, like, Digimon being more expensive isn't necessarily the greatest thing for the game. And, like, I've been seeing a lot of stuff on Facebook about, like, hey, I want to build a budget competitive, like, kind of almost the same question that you were asking me earlier. It's just like, I want to be competitive at this game, but I can't afford anything more than $100. What are my options? And then the answer, like, right now, if the actual answer to that question, because I think I saw it, let me see if I could pull up on Facebook. Yeah, so we'll go through Facebook. Thank you, Sam, for making a comment. So this was the post I was talking about. So what are the top 5 cheapest decks in the BT25 meta? And when they mean cheap, they mean less than $100. Some of these answers are just objectively wrong, and it's really funny. So let's go to previous. So like, obviously I'm here posting the real facts. I'm spitting real things here. So it's just like, it's funny seeing a lot of people get them wrong or just don't understand the pricing of their decks. But if you want the real answer, there's not a lot of options when it comes to cheap competitive decks that are under 100. Most are over 100 at this point. Rocks is actually the cheapest competitive deck right now. And you can make it for about $80. Reboot, as of right now, looks promising. But because we don't have any data, I can't necessarily confirm that this is actually going to be the cheapest competitive deck. So, with that in mind, we could go to Rocks and Minerals. Thank you, Ben, for giving us some really good results. Because we have like 2 from Cartamagica, Ben and Space. So if we go to Ben's list, his list right now costs around $80-ish. Okay. Well, that's clearly just Ben's list, right? Well, no. Rocks just does cost around $80-ish. Is that a fluke? No, because we could probably go to like some other Rocks lists. There's a lot here. So like, still $80-ish. Like that's just what it's gonna cost to play Rocks. Even if we go to like some locals, it's like a little bit more than 80. But that's mostly because they're playing Ukomon. You could easily cut Ukomon and then it goes down. This is 90. What are they playing that's making it 90? They're on 3 of this. Is it literally just the Ukomons? Yeah, I think it's literally just the Ukomons that's making this more, like, literally unnecessarily more expensive. That's funny. That's actually hilarious. But you don't even need Ukomon. Like, obviously, if Ben's anything to go off of, like, you very obviously don't need Ukomon anymore because it's harder to OTK. So, I talked about this in one of my podcast episodes with Tesoro, where it's just like, okay, Ben understands from a meta perspective that it is harder to OTK, so let's just not OTK. So he actually is focusing more on the recovery aspect, which is why he's increasing the amount of close he's playing here, and he's playing some black scrambles, so that way he has a little bit more consistency on being able to make a play off of a broken board. So that's why he decided to probably cut Ukomon, is because Ukomon helps OTK faster, but it doesn't actually help. It doesn't actually help the deck for what it needs. You want to ask me a bit about Reboot? Yeah, I'm more than happy to talk Reboot. I like Reboot. Reboot's great. But yeah, so this was the post that kind of got this whole rant going. Obviously it was made 10 hours ago. I saw it in the morning. I made my comment, and then it's so funny seeing like some of these comments where it's just like, oh, Marsmon, not competitive. I'm sorry. Marsmon is not competitive. Disregard this. Atmon, this is probably based. But that's because I'm an app stan. Bears, again, not competitive. Cross Hearts, as you can see, it's more than $100, as we already went through. Adventures, no, forget it. Adventures changed, and old Adventures is not viable anymore, and new Adventures is way more expensive than $100. Rocks is the correct answer. Medusamon is slightly over $100. Cross is slightly over. Volcanus is over 100. Angels is over 100. Bears is the cheapest thing, but it's not competitively viable. So this is just a really bad comment. Bears, again, not competitive. Volcanic, over 100. Abdomen, not competitive, but that's, like, I guess a thing. Cross Hearts, it can probably be done for less than 100, maybe, but you're making a lot of huge compromises if you're getting it to be less than $100. So again, like, you see a lot of the same responses, but like the majority of these people don't actually know the pricing of their cards. which is kind of funny. Beat Break, not cheap at all. Kyle's comment was like pretty bad, because Beat Break, like, yes, Beat Break is $100 with the starter decks, and then you need the promos and then the ultimate rares, and yes, it creeps it up to 150. Definitely not a budget deck. What did Sam even say to me? So you're playing it wrong. It's very strong and extremely versatile. What? I just said it's not competitive. Like, what was his initial comment that I made me comment on this? There's a comment missing. You could build it easily for under 100. No. Okay. So this is what this was in response to. Okay. This is what got me posting, yeah, not competitive. That makes sense. So you could build Glowing Dawn for under 100, and I'm just like, not competitively. So yeah, it's pretty funny how wrong people are. Oh, so for the promo Haru, is it necessary to run? I was thinking about slotting in other app tamers. So, I don't think promo Haru is needed for reboot. So, like, let's just go, can I search reboot? Or is it just under apps? App reboot, here we go. So, yeah, you have Wiz. Like, I see a lot of like what Wiz is doing here. I don't exactly agree with everything he's doing here. Obviously, I think he changed his build here. No, he didn't really change his build much here. But you can see like he's not running it. So instead of running, let me load up DCGO actually. I'll just show you mine also. And then we could flip-flop between. How's Hoodie in terms of meta and price? Meta-wise, Hoodie is still pretty competitive. And price-wise, it's actually one of the cheaper decks. So, let me do apps and then we could look at Hoodie for a second. Where's Reboot? Reboot. Where's my Reboot? That's Glowing Dawn, Diaboromon, Adventure, Rush, Bees, Gaia, Hades, Hoodie, Imperial, and Vizzy. Reboot. Here we go. All right. So if we look at my Reboot, I'm running 3 of them, and this arguably might be too many. So, like, you could probably get away with 2 and just run an extra one of this tamer. That might actually be correct. That's based on my list. But, like, if you're not playing this Gachimon, you probably don't even need this Haru at all. I just like the Haru because, like, it does have some niche case usage. But, like, I don't necessarily think the Harus are needed at all. Like, if you're literally just not running this Gachimon, you don't even need any Harus. Like, you just max on this. So, like, this is where you would, like, looking at this type of a list, they're obviously not running Harus. So, instead of Harus, what are they running? They're running a little bit more level 4s. They're using, instead of the extra Gachmon, they're using the Offmon to try to set these up. So that way you have cohesion, or not really cohesion. You have the ability to play either or line. And then they're using God Grade to interact with Charizimon specifically. Like, this card is in here specifically because of this. So, like, it is entirely possible to play apps without the promo Haru. It's just for my build specifically, I'm using Haru because I'm using Gachmon because I valued this card more than Offmon. And then obviously I trimmed down my level 4s, so I'm not running as many level 4s to slot in more option and tamer slots. And I also have a Monarch Lizardmon that probably shouldn't be in the deck, but I find this card to be hilarious anyway. Because I like the idea of Cyber Engage into Monarch Lizardmon to be able to just deal extra damage. Like, objectively, you probably could just get rid of these 3 and run something like Scopemon instead, if you really wanted to. So maybe I do need to run like one more time Mon or something, and then I could take out like maybe the Monarch Lizardmon for another time. I don't technically need to be running Emergency Program Shutdown. This is literally just a tech meta card for like a very small handful of decks. So I hope that kind of answers your question as far as like what you could do with Reboot. You like Ray being able to Digivolve into a Digimon from trash. It's not necessarily because you have Lugamon and Shutmon that do that. Like, you could link and then use these to Digivolve in the trash. So, like, I don't particularly think you need Ray. I do think, like, you do need, like, a normal Haru type effect, where it's just, like, you have something that just allows you to easily app fuse. So, like, obviously, somebody else was using, what's-her-face instead? Aerie. So, like, you could easily just use Aerie. I just like the normalized ability of being able to just do it mid-turn, rather than just relying on it end of turn. But the idea on this being end of turn is because, okay, let's just say you Digivolve into Bootmon, you use his ability, you have to pay something, and then the memory accidentally goes over to the opponent's side. This still allows you to make your play. So, you actually got really lucky and managed to build Jupiter. Nice. I mean, if you got all of the stuff, like, as it came out, that was, like, arguably the best time to get it. Especially, like, when a lot of the Jupiter hype started dying down and, like, Jupiter himself got cheaper, that was, like, obviously the prime time to pick it up. Man, this reminds me of people complaining about, Guilty Gear Strive. Spouting things they don't know. Oh, 100%. That's all Facebook is. Like, people just spout the absolute most nonsensical stuff. It's just like, are we playing the same game here, people? Like, do you even pay attention to this? And the sad thing is, Kyle should have. So there was no reason saying, like, Kyle saying that, like, oh, Glowing Dawn is sub $100. No, it's not. In what reality would you say, as a person who arguably covers the secondary market, say that Glowing Dawn is under $100? In what reality? None. So why are you saying this? Digimon's power levels become discouraged and pretty toxic. You got flamed for calling Bees a mid-deck. And Bees is okay. Bees is a big problem. Like, Bees is actually a very strong deck. The big problem to Bees is it's too slow. It is just too slow. But it is incredibly annoying to face because players don't like facing off against control style decks that stall. And that's exactly what Bees does. Bees is very good, though. It's just competitively, it sucks because it takes too long. That's literally the only reason why you don't see more Bees, is because it just takes too long. So I don't necessarily think that's a bad take, because that would label Bees as mid, like, just flat out. It's just like, yeah, why is this not winning? Because it's mid. It takes too long for it to win. So I don't necessarily think that comment's off base. It sucks that you got flamed for it. I make a lot of comments that people flame me over. Like, a lot. But yeah, maybe I do need to try to play his version of Reboot. I don't know. I kind of like where my Reboot is, though. I really do. What do you think of the new Eugene promo for apps? Let me read him real quick. I have him sitting on my desk. On play, reveal the top 4 cards of your deck. Add 1 System, Navi, or Tool, or Leviathan card from among them. Oh, it's just the Haru, but searching. When an effect trashes any of your linked cards, by suspending this tamer, you get a link. That's not terrible. Oh, it's during your turn only. That's the problem. Okay. Yeah. Because of that, he's only really good in his own deck. If it was in all turns, I would say, yeah, it's basically just God Grade, but better. But it's your turn only. So he's really meant for Leviathan. You see people running him because the Gachimon, also the option, can help the tamer. But the original Haru costs 4. Yeah. Like, I mean, I like the draw off of this Haru, like, a lot. So, I still see value in this. Plus, having a mem setter and extra ways of gaining memory is, like, really nice. So, that way I could be like, okay, start at 3, gain 1 memory. Now, if I'm forced to digivolve into Reboot because I don't have the Shut or Bootmon set up to app fuse, then, like, I have access at that. So maybe let's make a couple of changes. So let's add this, and then let's add the God grades. And then we could like potentially test this and see where we're at. But competitively, promo Haru isn't necessary. Correct. I don't think the promo Haru is necessary at all. It's just another piece for, like, it's just another tool in the toolbox. Exactly my point. It's okay, but not meta-defining. Yes. There's a lot of decks that are in that same category. Like, Bears, I would probably say is, like, tier 3 is where I would level, like, the bottom of the barrel in terms of, like, competitive viability. So I look at tiers a little bit different. Tier 1 is like, obviously, this is the meta. Tier 2 is, these are the off-meta decks that are still doing okay, but not as consistent as, obviously, the Tier 1 decks. And then Tier 3 is where we get into, like, more of the rogue or off-meta territory, where these decks really aren't doing a whole lot and haven't really done a whole lot, but they still can do things. It's just their play rate or, like, their matchup spread. Something about them is just off-putting enough to where they just don't really see a lot of results. I probably would label B's like top of tier 3, bottom of tier 2 type category. It feels very gatekeepery. It probably is more realistically bottom of tier 2 if I had to like put it somewhere. It still does well, but it just takes too long is my only like opinion on it. You saw people really hate promo Haru for Reboot because he can bottom deck the Reboot. He can, yes. I'm not gonna deny that. And then what? I have one more slot, so probably put in another time. So like, if I were to take out promo Haru, this is probably how I would run the deck. Maybe take out 2 of these for Offmon. So that way you have, like, some ability to do stuff. His when linking is not bad. I actually like his when linking. So, like, maybe the deck changes without the promo Haru to be this. Because this card becomes less relevant, but having Piercing, Block, and Raid is, like, still kind of just nutty. But this becomes the primary tamer because we have the Logi to set this up. I'm still high on Cyber Engage, so I want to run it at 4, personally. I'm really high on it, because I think Cyber Engage is, like, such a good card. Good morning! Do I have a spicy Abdomen recipe? I do not, but I could find one. How do I spell it? Abdomen. Hey, look at that. All right. Oh God, this is spice. You want to talk about spice? Holy shit on a stick. This is spicy. Oh, wow. It didn't do very well, but like, wow, this is a spicy meatball. So much unnecessary tech. Whoa. What is the Dark Masters doing? Yeah, the Warumanze. Yeah, this is pretty standard for Dark Masters, but like, wow. All right, there's your spice of the day. Like, shit. Is there anything else for Abdomen? Eagle's Nest, 11th. Okay, this is a little bit less spicy. So the most spice you have is the extra redirect from the errata, and then you have the extra protection from Raiji. And the force attack. Obviously, the force attack is important, so that way you could move your Abdomens out. You'd love to see a Hades deck list. I could show you mine. I don't think my Hades deck list is that great, though. But yeah, so this is probably where I would start with Abdomen. Just, like, very basic stuff. Not anything, like, super crazy. Yeah, even this doesn't seem like super... I mean, there's a lot of, like, crazy stuff in here, like this wart. But, like, you still have a lot of, like, the same foundational stuff. I don't think I would run the Izzy because you're running the Loud. Like, there's that opportunity, and then the Omnimon also can fuck this up. Plus, you're running this Eismon package, which could fuck this up. I don't agree with this. But, like, obviously, you just run... this, and then the new card. This might be before the support. Yeah, this is in April, so this was before the set released. So, yeah, I would probably start with this. If you really want, like, the absolute crazy spice, like, here you go. The craziest spice. I do think, like, Yuki's actually not bad for the deck because you do have the Ice Bonds that interact with it. I just don't know how good Yuki actually is in practice for it. Can I search Hades? App Hades. Not a whole lot of results. 224th at the booster box. Yeah, so this is probably... I don't know how close this is to my Hades list. But a big card I would probably run in Hades would be Cyber Engage. I think Cyber Engage is just a mandatory card in all app decks, period. So here's like a Hades list. I could see what I was doing. What was I doing? Okay, so I was on the Nidhogg's as the discard fodder card instead of the Tamer. And then I was running App Link to help fuel the trash also. So that's where I was at, but like if I were to update it, I would probably squeeze Cyber Engage in here somewhere. You're back. Sorry you had a haircut. Oh, you're fine. Get that hair cut. I don't know where I was going with that. But yeah, so like a lot of app decks, they do kind of just build themselves. That is just like the nature and reality of it. I think like the most spicy thing that Hades has is the scope. Like that's literally the most spicy thing he's got. Otherwise, like the deck for the most part just builds itself. You try to line up your app links for Revive and not for Bio, because Bio's okay. But like Revive is like the key card you really want to use. And then you just like try to line up your app link into Hades and just like punch hard with Hades. So the big reason why I like Big Bang Punch is because like I could app fuse into Revive, swing with Revive, link into Bio, and then Big Bang Punch plus either of these means that I can Digivolve into Hades mid-attack. And then Hades after that attack allows me to overclock and get an additional attack. So he could get 2 attacks off in the single turn for literally just swinging with your Revive and having a Bio in hand. So that's why I really like Big Bang Punch in this deck. Maybe you could reduce it by 3. Maybe now we just take out App Link or Super Hacking. What did that list do again? Here we go. Yeah, so they're on 3 Big Bang Punches. They're on the Demonic Disaster hype train. I'm not super thrilled with Demonic Disaster because the only target is Hack. Like it does do kind of what the deck wants to do, where it deletes a Digimon, and then like obviously if you deleted like Ragemon, then it replaces itself, so that way you still have the overclock target. So like it's just a way to squeeze out a little bit more damage. But I don't think like either version's like objectively wrong. Hades does have some decent flexibility. Like, the core is really the most important part, in my perspective. So as long as, like, you have a good core for Hades, you could kind of just, like, tech it to fit whatever mold you're trying to fit into. I think, like, this deck is a little bit more aggressive because of the Demonic Disaster than mine. Mine's more, like, baseline. Like, mine's shooting for more consistency, I guess. Yeah, so, like, you could replace the Harus, but the reason why I like the Harus is, again, if I don't have the Ray set up, and I have the Haru set up, then I can still make my plays. So, like, and that's why I decided to run the Nidhogg as the discard gain memory instead of the the starter deck mat. So, like, you could kind of, like, understand, like, where we're attempting similar things, but just some slight differences between them. Discard draw. Yeah, so maybe I take out one Big Bang Punch, replace App Link with Super Hacking at this point. Or not Super Hacking, Cyber Engage. But, I don't know. That requires a lot of extra testing. Looks up Diaboromon? I don't need to look it up. I have the best Diaboromon list there is. Diaboromon, I built my Diaboromon to OTK. So, just putting that out there. I built my deck to just OTK. That's just generally how I play a lot of decks. So, that's what I did. So, we're really trying to take advantage of the rush from Kurisarimon to just massively spit out and spam tokens for Diaboromon, so that way we could swing all crazy-like, and then go Diaboromon X to use Overclock to swing for game. So, it's not anything crazy. But this is kind of just like what I built Diaboromon to be. So, yeah. There's Diaboromon for you. And, like, I think this is still a reasonable deck. So, if I were to update this deck for the current modern game isms, I probably would want to add in Scramble somewhere. So that way I have recovery plays. So if I add in Scramble, what would I have to take out? I think I would have to take out probably a Black Memory Boost, which feels really bad. But we have like a lot of rookie search anyway. I could probably take out like maybe one rookie also. So probably would take this out, play an extra one of this because this digs 5. Take this out and then run Scramble. There. All right. So this is updated. You have to update Hadesmon, but it's okay. I just have a hard time playing the new tamer as oh, you just have a hard time playing a new tamer for 4 cost? Yeah. I think Haru for 4 cost is still really good. What does the new tamer even do for Hadesmon? So what does this card do? So if your opponent has a Digimon, gain a memory, and then by suspending this tamer, you can app link from your hand and reduce the app link by 2. That's really good. And then end of your turn, you get to app fuse. So what's the combo line then? Like, I could see you running it over Haru, just because the ability to reduce the linking by 2 just allows you to link easier. Oh, and you could use your Digimon's Digivolution source to link. Okay, interesting. Yeah, so like you could probably, like, if I were to update my list, like just as a quick example, I probably would run this as a 2 of. And then I probably would take out one of this and probably these. And then I would run Cyber Engage. So Cyber Engage, the reason why I think it's so important is because this is basically the equivalent of our Scramble. Where it just allows us to instantly play a Digimon to start building a board back up really quickly. So you could be like Cyber Engage, link for 1, app fuse into Raidramon, use Kazu to link the Depismon to then go into a Revivemon, and then you could be like, okay, now I could just pay the link cost for bio, and then I have end of turn app fuse into Hadesmon. So like it just allows you to instantly rebuild. So that's why I think like these are pretty decent for a lot of app decks. Paying 4 does kind of suck, I will say that, but like I feel like the combo play and the potential is good enough to warrant its cost. You have a question? Does the deck have any protection or ways to gain back memory to overclock twice? No, it does not. Apps does not. So memory. Let's go level 2s. I don't think yeah. So these are all the levels. So we have the Flickmon. When an effect trashes this Digimon's linked cards, we could gain a memory, but we can't do that mid-attack. Like, so the big trick play to get double overclock is you have to gain memory mid-attack. So I guess that's kind of where, like, the Nidhogg comes in, and that's why, like, the mats are important, is because, like, if you're able to discard mid-attack, then you could technically double overclock, because, like, let's just say you play out Scope, then Scope can gain you a memory. Because, what is it? That's on delete. What's its when linking? Oh, its when linking is just delete. You could use this Digimon. Yeah, so like if you Digivolve into Hadesmon mid-attack from a revive and a Big Bang Punch, you could be like overclock and then end of turn, like play out the scope to gain memory again. I don't know. I think like between scope and Nidhogg, that's like or like Matt, those are the only ways you could do it. And I think like double overclocking in this deck is like significantly harder. Because the only thing that's giving you your security attack plus is the Raidramon for the most part. Yeah, no other Atmon outside of Flick is gaining you memory, and Flick is unusable in this. Is there room for Matt? I mean, you'd have to take out these. So, just like in the other build, you'd have to take out these. Is there an there is an OTK with Flick when you link 3 that trashes the card when linked. Oh, okay. I think it's doable. Do I have Poseidon built on here? I don't remember if I have Poseidon. I don't think I have Poseidon. I have Deus. Yeah, so I probably would play the promo Eugene in here for sure. Again, this is where you probably would replace Applink. I don't know if this deck needs Big Bang Punch, but this is like memory efficiency, one of the most memory efficient app decks. Because like you use these to just incidentally gain memory. So it turns like your 4-cost Evos into a 3-cost Evo at the very least. So I need to update this. I know there's a lot of decks I need to update that I just haven't. Yeah, so like here's my Gallantmon. I know somebody mentioned Gallantmon earlier. Like this is how I played my Gallantmon. So instead of using the new Gallantmon, you could just use the Floodgate Gallantmon and probably be just okay. Like, I'm obviously heavier into X antibody efficiency. So, like, I'm using Cool Boy to search out these cards and then just, like, gain memory and draw more cards. I'm using, I probably should get rid of this card. I'm not thrilled with this card. Aces are just such a liability. But yeah, so, let's go back to here. No new messages, that's fine. Hades needs an egg, just like Wanya for, Angels and Puppets. Yeah. That would make things, like, significantly easier. But the cost of the deck, $8. Like, where are you gonna get a deck for $8? That's actually hilarious. Yeah, because literally everything here is like dirt cheap. Literally. $8. Like, it's obviously not the best app deck in the world. That goes to Reboot, but it's still a relatively cheap deck. Like, and that's why I tell people, like, if they're looking for something, like, cheap and somewhat reasonable, easy to build and understand, like, honestly, pick any of the Atmon decks outside of, Oranos. Oranos is, like, easily the worst Atmon deck. Very easily. No shot. $8 for a deck? Yeah. Where are you gonna find that? Because, like I said, Bees is actually a pretty cheap deck. It's not like... Again, it's not the greatest deck in the world, but it's not, like, awful. Like, it's around 50-ish bucks, but, like, do I expect anyone to win a regionals with this deck? Probably not. $8 is the price of a cheeseburger. It kinda is. That's sad. Yeah, so like Bees is a relatively budget friendly deck. Like you don't have to run the X antibody as we're very clearly seeing here. You just need like the promo instead. And then like Faye's insane. Winner, I don't know if the new winner is better than the old winner. I kind of like the old winner better, right? I kind of just like the old winner. This is a mem setter, but like you don't care about that because Faye gets you basically 2 memory per Faye. Per Faye, parfait. Anyway. Enough terrible puns. Yeah, so like Faye is good enough to where you just don't need a memory setter. So I think like the old winner is arguably better than this because the old winner lets you digivolve from your security. But like that goes to show you that like, yeah, just get a Faye and then the rest of the deck is like kind of just dirt cheap. Yeah, it's crazy that like the BT 19 and 18 stuff, like really, some of it really skyrocketed. It's a little unfortunate. Is this actually the price? Hold on, let's actually see if this is actually the price of these cards. Okay, it actually is the price of these cards. See, and it's important stuff like that where it's just like, oh, nobody probably would have thought BT19 Fun Beamon would be a $3-4 card. Like, I wouldn't have thought that this would be $4. Crazy that it is. So what is the egg also like $3 legitimately? Or has it gone down? No, it's like legitimately $3. Yeah. Wild. But paying attention to the secondary market definitely is really important when it comes to being a good budget player. And then obviously knowing like what your substitutes are is like also arguably one of the most important aspects to being a budget player. So like I'm probably going to end up transitioning some of my content to be more budget conscientious. Just because like I personally can't afford everything anymore. I know that's not everyone's case. But I also know, like, people are really bad at being budget players, so that's my specialty.
You're really squeezing that in, aren't you?
I am. I'm doing more talking and yapping than actual playing. I should probably play something. I'll play, like, a match of Reboot.
I'm gonna throw a mark dryer.
Okay.
It'll be your job to take it out.
Okay. At least I'll know it's safe in the dryer. Reboot on. There we go. When shopping, it's more... when shopping is more than the deck itself. Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't value TCGs to be incredibly, like... Obviously, certain cards are going to be, like, incredibly expensive. I do have, sitting right next to me, what is it? My serialized Omnimon that I won for topping a regional, and I do have my Grand Prix All-Force Vidramon, that there's only like 80 in existence. So I do have some very expensive tournament cards. Teach me to be budget. You could, it's not very complicated. So there's 2 main things to being a budget player. The first one is obviously reading and understanding the secondary market. So whatever website that's going to be, for me being a US English speaking player, that's easily TCG player. So I just have to understand trends in order to try to read the TCG player market to try to get cards for the cheapest they can possibly be. So if you know something is going to be getting support or potentially could get support, that's when you would probably want to invest in it when it's at its absolute lowest. In order to pick up something that's getting support. If it's a brand new thing, obviously you're going to have to like try to gauge when you should buy into it. But like obviously having a particular price point in mind is going to be important so that way you don't overspend. And obviously picking decks that naturally would tend to lean towards the cheaper side would definitely be good as well. So like decks that don't have a whole lot of super rares, don't have a whole lot of secret rares, don't have a lot of ultimate rares. Those are things you'd want to try to like look out for in terms of like, okay, what do I need in order to like make a deck but have it be cost efficient. So like that's kind of like why I like Reboot as an example, is because he is the only super rare that the deck actually needs. Ooh, that's a really good card draw. Oh, this is all really good. I think I just play Dugotch and hope that they can't do anything. Yeah. Oh, right. I forgot they could just do a lot off of nothing. Oh, that's fine. Them giving me an extra Dugotch made this play fine. So what? They get to go into another 4, and then they get to gain the memory back. Ooh, a Haru. And there's the concede. Cool. See, easy. We're already doing way better with this deck. Yeah, so reading trends, reading the secondary market, picking your deck wisely, those are all like very important factors. I guess this is okay. Probably Onmon and Raising. Hard play off? Something like that. Is Reboot basic or spicy? Reboot is basic. Like, there's not really that much going on with Reboot, to be honest. So I think I just do this. And then probably set this up. Because right now I don't have the proper 4, but I could still, like, at bare minimum, Evo and do plays. Evo draw into concede. Yes. So they probably didn't draw into what they wanted or needed. So they were just like, shit, he's just going to go off. That was probably their mindset. Because if they Diana'd, or not Diana'd, whatever the Cressy, I think. If they Cressy'd, then they would end up stunning my Digimon. And then that doesn't mean anything because I could just use it for a link anyway. So what do we have here? I could just hard play the Offmon. Maybe that's the play. Just hard play. Oh, wait. I just gained a memory. I wish I could link in the Raising, because that would be really great. This memory, this actually kind of just screwed me up. But that's fine. We have to live with our decisions. So I think it is just hard play Onmon and then just Digivolve into Craft. Probably sounds correct. Ooh, okay, so we don't play Offmon, we just play Cyber Engage and try to search. I think we just take this. Because this is how we kind of just have to deal with this matchup. Is it crazy to mix Gaogamon's lower end into Reboot? Kind of. Because the whole point of App Fuse is to just make your cards cheaper to evolve into. So the cheaper you could link, the more effective your cards can end up being. I don't really have any good plays. I'm gonna gain a memory, and then they have their mem setter up, so they can do whatever they want. So we're gonna keep it in raising. What do I set up? I think I set this up, and then I think I set this up. I probably should have just evoed for 3 into a level 5. But I know I could get a lot of value off if it's when digivolving. So if they don't respond this turn, then I could start chipping at them. What's this app called, Boris? It's called DCGO, short for Digimon Card Game Online. Oh, they finally found their Murasamimon that they probably were looking for. Yep. They could swing with the Leol to get 2 extra under the Tomoro. They're really searching. Monarch? Or the other Murasame? Or is it E-Pulse? It's probably not E-Pulse, right? There's no way they take E-Pulse. Yeah, Murasame. But they already have a Murasame. Are they literally just looking for their level 4 just like we're looking for ours? I'm just debating what do I do. Because I can't commit to doing anything here yet. I guess I could just discard one of these. Another off. So we're gonna start off with a Cyber Engage. Probably take the Gachimon. We could use this to play this out for free since I already have a backup. Take one Atmon related card, so we'll take another Cyber Engage, and then we can take the time. Oh, does this link from hand? When a social tour linked to this Digimon reduce its cost by 1. We need to delete that so that way they don't have barrier. This barrier is incredibly annoying for us. We could still do a lot. Maybe I just digivolve into time. What does this do? When linking, suspend? From Digimon's Digivolution source. I'll just beat this up and do a chip. And now...
Yeah. I was gonna make a gay joke, but you're on screen.
Okay.
Go too crazy.
I will. My friend's calling Timon, Times New Roman Mon. I can't stop laughing. That's kind of funny. It's so funny that Shakomon Loop is back. Yeah, I think the irony of it is it's literally Shakomon again. Like, I think people would have less complaints if it was literally any other Digimon, but the funniest thing is it's just Shakomon again. So they have enough memory to kind of just do whatever they want. So they're probably just like processing how to just kill me from here. Yeah, I'm still also not set up, by the way. Like, I'm still missing the Shutmon to actually be able to use the Bootmon efficiently. Yeah, so he's gonna kill the off, and then this is dead. I actually kind of needed the off to have memory, like, to be able to gain memory efficiently. And then he's gonna use the Monarch Lizamon. Oh, this doesn't have the when attacking. So now he swings for 2 checks. Oh, he could play out a Digimon in Alliance. So he could swing for 3 checks here. Yeah, and then he can unsuspend. And then he could take my last security. Yeah, Monarch Lizamon into Atreides is like actually kind of insane. Yeah, you could just like easily OTK in these positions. So now I have to deal with this Digimon being barrier and immune to shit. Okay, so we can... from our hand... I don't know why they conceded. They did literally... I couldn't interact with this, and I don't think I could have killed them. Because I would do 4 checks, and then I don't have any like rush plays to actually like have lethal, so I don't know why they conceded there. Oh, Godgrade Unleashed actually would have made my Digimon insulated, so I would do 4 checks to them. And then we would both be staring down basically 2 immune Digimon, and mine probably would be naturally higher in DP. But he could just like, oh, he doesn't have barrier because he would lose it. So he would have to block barrier, and then I could take 2 checks. Maybe he just couldn't feel like he couldn't get around reboot. Yeah, that's probably the case. I could keep this. I need like something to search with, but this is like keepable. The Offmon is cute. I just don't feel like it's like super needed. Maybe I'm better off with like another search tool instead. I think I just Digivolve here, to be honest. Craft. Craft isn't bad. I got too many level 4s, though. I think I just beat this deck. Oh, it's Machine Dramon. Never mind. I mean, this is... Actually, maybe I do still beat this deck. Just because we're both going to be staring down as two, like, invincible monsters. I think I'm just going to have to hard play a craft here. I don't like doing this, but I'm at the point where I kind of just need to develop something. And I already have a backup craft. So I'm not huge about giving my opponent this much memory, but hopefully they can't do a lot with it. Offmon is a miss most of the time, sadly. Yeah. That's why I'm not, like, super thrilled with playing off. Oh, look, they hammer sparked. So, are they going to force me to have it now? Okay, cool. I'm on a roll with this. Yeah, Offmon's inheritable, or not, it's inheritable. It's when linking is, like, fine. Like, if the deck had, like, something like a Tweetmon or something, that would be really good. Going first? This is a terrible go first hand. This is arguably a little bit better, but still not great. On a roll with the concedes, yes. That's how you win. You just make the opponent concede. We have to take the off. Do we take the extra Gallantmon, or do we take the backup reboot? I think we just take the extra Gallantmon, because, like, ideally I shouldn't be losing my reboot, and I just need to find my pieces. So I could, like, double Gallantmon next turn, pending what happens. Or I could do, like, chips with Gallantmon and then play another one. I have the off to link immediately. Once I concede because I needed to go to the restroom. That's fair. I kind of need to go to the restroom too. Ooh, Sarasmon. Talisman. If they're not running any options, I think we're fine. Like, legitimately. Okay, so we drew into a backup reboot anyway, so that's fine. So, what are we looking for? We kind of just need everything. So we definitely need the shut. Do I take the tamer and the shut, or is it craft and shut? It's shut regardless, but it's either craft or tamer. I think it's just craft, to be honest. Like, the tamer's not, like, super relevant. It's nice to have. But, like, at worst, I could just digivolve into craft here. And then, still just be able to, like, do Bootmon stuff. So we're gonna swing here. That's fine. We just needed the chip anyway. Do I risk it with hard playing the Dugotch? Or the Gallantmon? I think maybe I do risk it. Just try to find more optimal pieces. So we found the log. Okay, so we basically have everything. And depending on how much memory they give us, depends on what the rest of our playlines look like. It sucks that we don't have any tamers, but we basically have full ability to do whatever we want. Oh no, they get a stun. So they could... Yeah, I'm like, I think they're just forced to give us stuff. So now we just go ham, right? Would have been nice to... Well, maybe we could draw something here. Link for -1. From hand. We will discard probably the time. Because we're not de-digivolving anything here. No, maybe it's just a shut. No, we need shut for the recovery play. So I think it is just time in case we do want to set up a log. Of course, draw into nothing. From hands. They can't unsuspend. I'm gonna be bigger than the Sarismon, so that's not that big of an issue. When this Digimon suspends, plus 1,000, plus 1,000. So we'll do these two, I guess. We will link from probably our inheritables. And then what do we need? Probably more consistency, right? Oh, I did it again. I was supposed to not use his ability. And then I need a way to end the turn. I don't really have a good way of ending the turn. I could just hard play off. Or no, I don't hard play this. Yeah, because I wouldn't do anything. So, I think I just hard play Gallantmon. Oh, I could link for 2. I'm an idiot. Duh. Do I link here? Or do I just link here? What does this do? Suspended Digimon or Tamer? They don't have anything. And then we just lock this down because this is already locked down. So we're good to go here. Ham sandwich time? Heck yeah. I'm gonna have pizza for lunch. Probably should have had breakfast, but that's fine. Yeah, DCGO is desktop only. It's for Linux, PC, and Mac. You might be able to get it running on a Steam Deck or like Steam Deck like machine, but that's mostly because it's Windows and Linux based. So that's like the most portable you can make this. It is not for Android. Yeah, I think my opponent is screwed. Because I punch for 2 checks. And then I just punch for game. I locked his Digimon down so they can't do anything. I'm immune to Digimon effects. So, pretty commanding position. Alright, so now... They gave me how much memory? Why? What are they doing? Factorial area? Yeah, I mean, I don't think that they would be able to make a blocker to stop my attack because I could just suspend it. So I think I was just in a winning position. Yeah, and that's why Saraspawn's not good. I mean, granted, I had the immunities to do whatever, which is like the insane part about Reboot is just he has some insane level of protection, which is why they play the Karasmon. I'm still thinking, is there anything better than Offmon that we could run for app rookies? We don't care about color. That plays Airy. We're not doing that. This discards, draws us 2. Comes with blocker. It's not terrible. Not exactly what we're looking for. Same with this. This is just a search and then piercing. I don't think we care. We're not running that many app drivers. That's just the tamers. We are already suspending. The one attacking is interesting. Oh, by trashing a linked. Okay, we're not doing that. This isn't terrible. The Shotmon, like, thinking about it, it's not terrible, but obviously you would want more consistency. Like, is it literally just Tweetmon? Like, just literally swap off 2 off for Tweet? Like, is that actually the answer, objectively? Just to get a draw? Because this is searching for Atmon and Entertainment or Awakening. We're not running any entertainment, so this search is, like, arguably worse. Oh, I did cost of 3. I need level 3. I don't think Ares Searcher is good for us either. Yeah. Ares Searcher's pretty useless for us. Yeah, if I were to run anything for, like, consistency boosting, it probably would be Tweet. If I was running anything just for extra tech, it would probably be Shot, to be honest. Shot's kind of great. Doka? What is Doka searching for? Oh, this just plays Airy. It's this card, that's the search, and this is for games. Like, app and games. We're not really running a lot of games. Like, the discard draw is, like, fine. And the gain 1 memory is also nice. Like, it's not terrible. So, like, at worst, like, this basically just reads Evo for 1. Like, draw an extra card, Evo for... Like, trash draw, Evo for 1. It's not bad. It's not fantastic, but it's not bad. So, I'll get, like, maybe a game or 2 in. And then I'm gonna probably have to call it because my friend's coming over. I've been checking, like, my Discord like crazy. This is pretty bad. This is a little bit better. I could at least, like, off into Digivolve into Log, or I could, like, off into Haru. Alright, we're just Digivolving into Log. Okay, so we have the boot and we have the shut, so we just need... And we technically have the, Karis. So we have most of what we need. We just need to find the reboot, and we're good. This kind of sucks for us. Pizza? Yeah, I'm gonna be buying pizza for lunch. I'm just gonna Haru here. It sucks. I don't want to Haru, but we just need to, like, hopefully draw into more card draw to try to find a reboot. Because we have everything else. Like, in this position, we legitimately have everything we need. I can see swapping Tweet, and maybe swapping the Log or the Dugotch, maybe. Oh, what? Old school Payil. Is this like just Evo? Like just Evo damage? Old school? I don't really have any good responses to this. So I guess I could just move out. Do I Digivolve into this, or do I use this ability first? I guess I just Digivolve because there's no point in using the ability right now. I could keep this stunned. So we could go from our hand, then this is free. So we could draw first. Nope, didn't get it. Stun 2 cards. Actually, this is as good as dead, so I might as well just stun these. And then suspend you. And punch over you. Don't link. Oh, he had a blast. That's not good. He actually is getting me because he's playing such, like, the weirdest cards. Alright. Yeah, I'll just let him have that. He got me because I didn't have my thing. I should have not blast, or I shouldn't have played into the blast card, but, like, they were running such weird shit, I don't think it mattered. I probably could have came back and beat them. I just really didn't care for the effort to do so. This is okay. It's not terrible. It's not exactly what we want, but it's, like, fine. Ideally, a Searcher would have been nice. This is a pretty spoopy deck. It's incredibly spoopy. So I think we just Digivolve here. I really want to set up the Tamer now, but I also want to set up the Search. Maybe I do both, actually. Turn this off. I think we just take the time and this. Oh, we wouldn't turn the Tamer off because they could still do shit. I'll just make a blocker. That's fine. You had this matchup at locals? Apps versus whatever this is. So I'm still missing things, so I think I just set up the Cyber Engage. I like sit passively and I set up Cyber Engage. Maybe I attack here? I think I attack here. The Bearmon's not exactly what we want to see. Do we just take God Grade? I think we just take God Grade, honestly. Oh, these are discarded. Oop. Yeah, Time Stranger Galaxy. So now they get to do the Bearmon, and then the Bearmon gets the free Evo. So now they have like double Evo chain. I think we should still be technically okay. We just are desperate and need to see what's its face. We need to see our reboot like ASAP. If we see reboot, we're probably in a good spot. So what, they take the Flare back, or they take the Diana? I think they take the Diana back. Or is this specifically red? Red or blue, okay. That's probably exactly what they wanted. Which is not exactly what we wanted, because now they could just Evo this and then just do the whole crisscross. So we might be in trouble. That deletes our Digimon, right? So it's not like the stun even mattered to begin with. Interesting that they chose to hard play this. Okay. Race Nova's 18? Oh, because of this. Okay. Does this have... It does have 2 security attack pluses? Yeah, okay. Oh, well, there's a reboot I needed. There's 2 reboots I needed, so that's not good. Drawing the craft is really good here, so this forces me to move out. Now we do our thing. Link from hand. Play out a Tamer. Discard probably you. Nope, didn't get there. God grade. Gotcha. Gotcha. And log. Hmm. Oh, I get DNA here. Duh. Or not DNA. App fuse. We'll go from our hand. Do we do this now? I think we do this now. So now we just need to find our thing. I think I have to play Dugach. I'm like really desperate here. So I could Digivolve, Link, draw. I do have a boot in here. So I could use Logi to de-Digivolve this at the very least. Or do I just go literally for the raw draw? I think I have to go for the raw draw. So this will cost 2. I could Link for 1. Go into another boot. Yeah, I think just going for the raw draw is like the play. We could discard off. No, we need off in the raising. I think we just discard a Karis. God, how have I not found it yet? I know there's only 4 in the deck and 2 are already in my trash. This one will go from our Digivolution sources. We need to do this again. Discard a Cyber Engage. There it is. Fucking finally. Alright, so how big am I gonna end up being? Well, I'll be bigger than this, so... What's this ability do? For each of this, trash any one of the opponent's Digimon. Oh, so this just gets rid of Digivolution sources. Okay, so that doesn't matter at this point. We'll go from our hand. We'll do here. We will unsuspend. Gain piercing. I'm immune. Is this once per turn? It is once per turn. Okay. So now I just get rid of this and then put them to 1, and then we should be okay. So my opponent did Grace Nova things, and then I did this. Can somebody tell me what's fair or what's wrong with this picture? Like, my opponent literally did Grace Nova things, put me basically to 10 memory, and then I just came back and hard clapped them. And this is why Grace Nova is not good. Literally because of this. He has 0 protection. I could have probably just de-digivolved them too. Like, if I used the Timemon linked out of my trash, I could have just like de-digivolved him also and just ignored that, but like I needed to dig as hard as I possibly could that turn, which is like funny and sad at the same time. Yeah, so like I do think like competitively Reboot is very good, and he definitely seems like he's gonna be one of the strongest cheap decks to make, which eventually will increase his price, which is weird, because more people are arguably gonna want Reboot, and then that's gonna cause more demand for him, and then his price is gonna go up. Yeah, the immunity on Reboot is just insane. Like, the combination between Karis and Reboot, like, he's probably just not dying. Mix Godgrade in, and it's just like, okay, maybe I don't care about the opponent shutting down my options, because... Or, like, I don't care about shutting down the opponent's options because I'm just ungodly immune. Maybe I should start streaming earlier on Saturdays. Is that the strat, chat? Like, is honestly streaming earlier just a little bit better than everyone than streaming, like, noon to 6 or something? Or I guess technically I could just like magically add 4 hours. So this is probably okay. I need to do a lot of digging, so this Gachamon's got to do a lot of heavy lifting. Because I have my 2 that I want to start with. Oh, they're playing like pure slop. Okay. They're like legitimately leaning hard into the slop. So we obviously take Bootmon. Do we take time and boot? I think we take time and boot. So I don't really have a play next turn, so I'm probably just going to end up using the Tamer. And then I could use like maybe something here to do something else. Gamer apps, I guess. These are social though. I think I just choke them a 1 here. Just try to search. So I just need my level 4 and I'm good to go. That's basically all I'm waiting for. I could technically just Evo here. Like, realistically. I could also just Evo here in Raising and just forget about trying to do the thing. And then just like Evo here and then do the thing anyway. So if I don't find a level 4 soon, I'm probably just gonna go Digivolve here. Interesting. Tweet. Play out the Tamer. Draw 2 cards. Okay, so they have it. Yeah, they're kind of doing what I was thinking about, just like subsidizing shit. Like, as long as you just have the Anmon core, like, the rest of the deck is fine. So now it's just whose reboot is ideally stronger is kind of just like the magical game that we're playing. Oh, interesting. Oh, are they gonna link mid attack to try to find cards? And then they're gonna like use Big Bang Punch to try to set up the shut, or what are they doing here? I'm slightly confused. Okay, and then that locks these down. Yep. So how much memory are they going to leave me with? 1? 2? Two? Nope. All right. So we're gonna have to do this. I don't like doing this. I didn't like doing that. I'm not gonna lie. I did not like that play. But I didn't really have any other play lines. So now they have the ability to choke. Like, if they just continuously choke me to 1, I can't do anything. And if they build too big too quickly, then I could just end up being screwed. Oh, maybe Barrier. Is there an app that gives Barrier as its link? Yeah, I don't care about that. Arguably, you were probably better off just using the Gallantmon and its sources, rather than just wasting Offmon like that. Just give me 3. Like, that's all I ask, is just give me 3. Thank you. He does not have the proper card in here. He could use the Haru, give me 2, and that's pretty bad for us. So now I need to draw my level 4 here, otherwise I am just kind of screwed. Nope. Yeah, him giving me 2. I think I'm just gonna lose this one. Just because I'm like too memory deficient already. I don't think their version was better than what I was playing. I was just literally not memory efficient enough. They were running some weird shit. Like, there's no reason to run any of Ares cards in here. Literally no reason. The deck already does it built in. It doesn't need any Ares cards. I mean, like, Ares okay just for extra DP herself. So, like, if you wanted to run Ares, that would be the only acceptable card. Pizza time? No, pizza time's only when my friend gets here. So, I'm literally just streaming until my friend comes. This is pretty bad of a hand. Like, incredibly bad. I mean, I, like, have a playable, but, like, this is not ideal. These are 2 bricks right now. This is arguably less playable. Yeah, I think people are realizing, like, how good, Reboot is. Ah, 3 of the same. Okay, that's really good, at least. Probably time and reboot. And then, unfortunately, I'm probably gonna have to Digivolve here. Just because I do have to Digivolve normally, which means I probably need to set up these, like, ASAP. So he could link here, delete this, and then go all the way up. Meanwhile, I'm still moving at a snail's pace. Yeah, it's literally like, if you find the full reboot line, you're, like, golden. Yeah, so I'm gonna have to set up, like, arguably Haru before this, but I do have to set them up. So he could get into one thing for free here. Yeah, he tried to be cute and cheeky by attacking, so that way if this lived, then he gets the link and it's a free damage. So now they have to play, like, extra carefully, because they could use this to potentially go into a Bootmon. If they have the cards for it. If they don't, then I just hard punish them here. Because this literally is a race to whoever gets to reboot first, and whose reboot is stronger. That literally is this matchup. So, what do they got? Do they have it? They do not. So, they're just choosing to choke me to 1. So, I guess I'll just take it slow, because obviously this isn't that big of a threat right now. It could be if he drew the right cards. So, maybe my better play was to Haru, but this was just more memory efficient in the long run. His egg isn't even the draw egg. So I don't understand what the point of doing this is unless he got the correct one. That's not the correct one. So he could do that for free, and then what? What's his game plan? Is he just trying to choke with linking? That was already reduced! Oh, my opponent's misplaying so hard. Oh, he wants to set up the tamer. Okay, and then he could use the tamer to do another link. Oh, that was the plan. So now he could use the Bootmon to get up into a reboot. Little does he know I have Charismon. Oh, he didn't have it. So what's my game plan here? So I could link for what? 1, suspend his Digimon, then Digivolve here, and then get rid of this. Because what does this do when linking? When it gets linked, suspend? Yeah. So I move you out. I swing. I link from... Because I'm just going to be evoing. I guess I do it from my Digivolution sources? Like, this is going away regardless. So, yeah, I might as well just do it from my Digivolution sources. We'll save the time. Actually, no, I think we do time here. And then we go from our Digivolution sources. Link from this card's Digivolution source. Unsuspend. And bottom deck. Alright. Cool. I think we're good. Not exactly the playlines I wanted to take, but we're in a reboot, so that's the only thing that matters. Because now I'm going to be putting a lot of pressure on them. And then I set up the Dugotch next turn. So that way, when I move this out, I could use the Onmon to link here to get into a log for free. Or I just like, yeah, that would get the Haru play and this played out, depending on what they do. So we go, actually, because I have this in my hand, I don't even need it anymore. From hand. Oh, God. I want to throw this away right now. I really do. Just to delete his Digimon. I think I do it anyway. Actually, no. We could just do this. I'll take the power D boost. Then what does this card read? Oh, if we have one or fewer tamers. Okay. So, I guess I might as well just set up a Haru and then just Digivolve here then. Yeah, now there's like literally nothing my opponent can do. You got nothing. Oh, I guess that recovers them one. That's cute. Might as well. From hand. Play out a tamer. Draw 2. From Digivolution source. Discard, draw 2. Link from hand. Unsuspend, draw 2. And swing game. Alright, cool. Yep. That is exactly how I thought it would go. Let me check my DMs real quick. Let me check outside. Alright. Give me 1 second, chat. Alright, so, sounds like my friend is here. So, it is time to order some pizza and, I guess wish everyone a happy Saturday and happy Memorial Weekend. So, thank you everyone for coming out and watching. I know the first half of this was, like, really hyper ranty. Hopefully you found the conversation to be interesting at least. But yeah, so thank you everyone for coming by. It really does mean a lot to me. And I hope to see you all in the next stream. So just as a quick reminder, I do stream Thursdays over on twitch.tv/Zenitsu. That's just general video game stuff. And then on Saturdays, I usually stream for the Digimon TCG. If I do an extra bonus stream, that's why you gotta be subscribed and liked and followed or whatever. So that way you can stay up to date when I do any surprise streams. But I try not to. So that's my general streamer schedule. So with that, I want to thank everyone again, and I will see you all in the next